Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. This video is part of my RNIP series. Till now we have seen all the documents required for applying RNIP and how to apply RNIP or how to apply for city. So once you apply for city, the successful candidate will receive a recommendation letter. So once you receive a recommendation letter, you have to apply for federal. In this video, we will see what documentation we need to apply for RNIP Federal. So Federal has created a checklist. So we will see the Federal checklist for RNIP. Let's go to my laptop.
To download the checklist, just type RNIP Federal Checklist and click on the first link. Click on the download button on top right corner and say save. I have opened the checklist in Acrobat Reader and will go through one by one. First form of our checklist is Generic Application Form to Canada IMM 0008. As name suggests, it's a very common form and very high level details are asked in this form. This form is very easy to fill and you will be having all the details with you while filling up this form. Second form is Schedule A Background/Declaration IMM 5669. This is very important topic. Many of the application get delayed by this topic. Let's go through this. This topic is not applicable for eligible international student. So if you are an international student, you don't have to show 1 year of experience. And if you are not eligible international student, then you have to show 1 year of experience. And all the information mentioned here, you have to provide. You have to show your personal history from last 10 years or since the age of 18. If you are less than 28 years of age. You do not have to leave any gaps, any blanks. For example, if you are not working or you are not doing anything for 1 month or 15 days, you mention that you are not working or you are on vacation for those days. But you have to mention everything. And it is also mentioned that do not use any abbreviations and do not use generic words like employee, working, manager. You have to be specific like retail salesman, architect, financial manager, software developer, business analyst, and all those details filled for the primary applicant, spouse or common law partner, whether they are accompanying or not, each dependent child over the age of 18 years, whether they are accompanying or not. Form is offer of employment to a foreign national, rural and northern immigration pilot, IMM 5984. This is the same form which is given by your employer earlier to apply for RNIP or to the city. Rural Northern Immigration Pilot, IMM 5911, which is also one of the old form, which is a applicant form. Our next form is recommendation from the designated Economic Development Organization, Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot, IMM 0112. This is the recommendation letter you will receive from city or community when you apply for RNIP. Next one is supplementary information, which is your travel history, IMM 5562. This has to be filled online by the primary applicant. You have to fill all your travel history apart from your home country. Next form is additional family information, IMM 5406. In this form, you have to provide your family details, your parents' details, your siblings' details, your spouse parent details, siblings, and so on. Next form is use of a representative, IMM 5476. This was not applicable to me because all the documentation done by myself. Our next document is travel document and passports. You have to upload copy of passport for yourself, your spouse, and your dependent children. And all these information should be visible in the copies of passport. And also if you are not living in a country other than your country of nationality, include a scanned copy of your visa for the country in which you are currently living. Next document is proof of language proficiency. I have given IELTS, so I have uploaded my IELTS TRF. And if you see below, there is a table showing different CLB benchmarks for different type of tiers. For example, for 0 and 1, it's 6 CLB. For 2 and 3, CLB 5. And for tier 4 and tier 5, CLB 4. Next document you have to show, which is proof of education. You should have minimum high school diploma. If you have studied in Canada, then you should upload the Canadian degree. If not, you should have ECA, Educational Credential Assessment. I have done diploma in Canada, so I have uploaded my Canadian degree, but my highest degree was master degree, which I have done in India. And for that, I have done ECA from WES. So I have uploaded my WES document as well in this category. Next topic is proof of previous relevant work experience. And this is very, very important. And again, this is not applicable for eligible international student. And for others, it is required. And you have to upload many documents related to this. Let's go through in detail. You have to show 12 months of full-time experience in last 3 years, which is 36 months. Your job should be full-time or part-time equivalent. It should be paid. Volunteer work, unpaid internship do not count in this. So in last 3 years, you have to show 1 year of experience. In hours, it is equivalent to 1560 hours. So to be specific, you have to show 1560 hours within last 3 years. So what details you have to show in those documents? So one of the documents should have the activities identified in the lead statement of the NOC description. Your main duties, which should include all of the essential duties listed in the NOC description. This can be a reference letter from your employer mentioning roles and responsibilities, what you are performing or you have performed in the past. What other documents you have to show? You have to show copy of your most recent work permit. You have to show reference letters. Those reference letters should have all those details. The period of employment, from date and to date, your roles and responsibilities, your NOC code if possible, your total annual salary or benefits, number of hours you worked per week, employer's name, signature, address, and other contact details. You should also upload your tax information document, work contracts or offer letters, and pay slips. And here I like to give my example what all documents I have uploaded here. So as I mentioned, I studied here, but I am not eligible as an international student applying for RNIP. So I have to show 1 year of experience while applying for RNIP. So currently I'm working in Canada. So I have shown my offer letter and all the pay slips from the current employer. And for my last 1 year of experience, I worked in 2 different organizations back in India. So I have to show following document from both the organization: offer letter, relieving letter, experience letter, and the pay slips for entire 1 year. So from the pay slip, they want to know how much hours of work you have performed so that they can calculate 1560 hours, which is required to be eligible for RNIP. I have taken one more document from my both employers, which is reference letter, specifically mentioning all these details because your main roles and responsibilities are not mentioned in any of the document which I have mentioned earlier. So it's good to have one more document having all those details which is mentioned here. If you don't have such document with you, please ask your employer to share with you. And this is applicable for current and old employers. Our next document is proof of statement fund. We will start with the note, and note says that You are not required to provide proof of funds if you are already working in Canada with a valid work permit. So this is also confusing to me because if you are applying for RNIP, you should have a job, full-time permanent job, then only you can eligible for applying RNIP. And as per the note, you don't have to show any documentation for proof of funds. But I have enough funds to show and I did that. So let's see what information is mentioned here. Submit proof that you have sufficient funds that are transferable and available for settlement in Canada. The funds must be your own and should not be borrowed from another person. The amount of money you need is set by the size of the family and is 12.5% of the low income cut off total for rural areas. For more information, you click on this link. This link will show you the exact amount what you have to show as per your family members. Let's go and click this link. You will see this page. You have to fill some information. You have already applied for community, then say yes. On or after September 23rd, 2022. Then if you scroll down, you can see a table where the number of family member and the amount is mentioned. For example, you are single, then you have to show 2,367. And if you are married and you are applying with your spouse, then you have to show 2,947. And if there are 3 family members, 3,623, and so on. Now we will see what document you have to produce to show this amount to IRCC. You can show your current bank statement or certificate letter from the bank, evidence of saving balance, deposit statements. I have an account with CIBC Bank, so I went to the branch. I have asked them to give me a bank statement. They gave my entire bank statement, which include your savings account and your current account. And I have submitted that as a proof of statement funds. And now we are going to see identity and civil status document. And these documents are provided by you and your spouse or common law partner. First one is birth certificates. Birth certificate is one of the important and mandatory document. If you don't submit initially, they will ask you again. So better to upload the birth certificate in first shot. Next document is legal document showing name or date of changes, if applicable. If you are married, you have to show marriage certificates or divorce certificates and related documents. Death certificate for former spouses, if applicable. National IDs, family household registry or book, if applicable. And if you have a common law partner, you have to fill and submit this document. And you have to produce few documents, and also that form has to be signed by both by hand. Next document is with respect to children's information. First one is birth certificate. Second one is adoption paper, if applicable. Proof of full custody of children under the age of 18. And if the other parent of your children is not accompanying you to Canada, you must submit a signed document which is IMM 5604, and you must submit one form for each child and a copy of non-accompanying parent photo ID showing their signature. Next document is police certificates and clearance. You must get a police certificate from each country or territory where you have lived for 6 or more months in a row since the age of 18. That means if you have lived in a country other than your home country more than a 6 month in a row since the age of 18, you have to take police clearance certificate from that country. For example, if I stayed in Hong Kong for 7 months, I have to produce PCC document from that country. And this is applicable for your spouse, and this is applicable for your children as well. If they are above 18 and they have stayed more than 6 months in any other country. You are strongly encouraged to submit your police certificate with your application. If you are unable to obtain all the necessary police certificates, you may still submit your application without them. So you must be ready with the document when they will ask. This note is also important, which says police certificates are generally considered to be valid for a year from the date of issue. Therefore, depending on the processing time of your application, you may be requested to submit a new certificates. That means IRCC considered PCC is valid for 1 year, and they ask you to create PCC as per how much time they are taking to process your application. Next document is photos. Photo must have been taken within 6 months before application submission. Include photo of each member of your family, whether accompanying or not, and yourself. On the back side of each photograph, you have to take stamp from the photo studio, for example, Staples or any other photo studio. And also you have to mention the name and date of birth of the person who appears in the photo and the date when photo was taken. Now we are seeing the last document of the checklist, which is fee payment. So before submitting your application, you have to pay the permanent resident fees. And once you make the payment, you will get a document, and that document you have to upload, then submit your application. Now the question is, what is the fees for permanent residency? It is not mentioned in the checklist, but you can find out. Open Google and type fee for PR application. Click on the first link and you will see the permanent residency. Click here. And there are different categories under permanent residency. So click on economic immigration, including express entry. You can see RNIP here and other PR applications who follow this fee structure. If you are single, then your fees will be $1,365. And if you are applying with your spouse or partner, then you will add $1,365. That means 1,365 plus 1,365. And if you have child, you can add $230 per child. For example, you are married and you have 2 kids, then it will be 1,365 plus 1,365 plus 230 plus 230. This application fees is consist of $850 for processing fees and $515 for right of permanent resident fees. You can pay $850 per person and you can submit your application. And later on, if your application is approved, IRCC asks for remaining $515. So to avoid delay, you can pay entire amount upfront so that your application will be processed soon. And in case you got rejection, you will get $515 back to you. So that is the end of document checklist for RNIP.
This is the federal checklist for RNIP. Hope you get the overview of all the documents. If not, it is okay because I will be creating a separate video for each of the document. So stay tuned for my upcoming videos. For that, you have to subscribe and click the bell icon. If you like the video, please share with your friends. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye. Take care.